Hello guys, welcome to Clarity for Sure. Today we will be revising about the static portion of horticulture. Okay, so without a further ado, let's start with our session. So regarding horticulture, if you see, the word horticulture has been derived from two Latin words, hortus meaning garden and cultura meaning cultivation. So what is horticulture? You should know the definition. That is, it is the science and technique of production, processing, merchandising of what sort of products? That is fruits, vegetables, flowers, spices, plantation crops, medicinal and aromatic crops. That means that these fruits, vegetables, flowers, spices, plantation crops, medicinal and aromatic plants will be dealt with in horticulture subject. Now, there are various branches of horticulture. Okay, when we deal with different aspects of horticulture, so there are different branches. Like pomology is the study of fruits, olericulture is the production of vegetables, flower cultivation is known as floriculture, and we've seen what are the plantation crops like the tea, coffee, rubber, coconut. Spices and condiments are the pepper, cardamom, turmeric, etc. Medicinal and aromatic plants are like aloe vera, lemongrass, ashwagandha, sarpagandha. And the post-harvest technology deals with the post-harvest handling, grading, packaging, storage, processing, value addition, marketing, etc. So this is about the major branches of horticulture. Now, if you see briefly about the latest statistics related to horticulture, so then it is the total horticultural production according to 2020 to 22 final estimates is 355 million tons, wherein fruits accounts for 110 million tons, vegetables account for 212 million tons. And if you talk about the 2023-24 third advance estimates, then the overall production is estimated at 353 million tons, wherein there is a decrease of 22 lakh tons. Okay. And fruit cultivation, fruit production is 212. Okay. It is expected to be 212 million tons, wherein vegetable production is expected to be 205 million tons. Now, once we have seen about the statistics of the horticulture presently in India, let us talk about the types of fruits. So, fruits on the basis of temperature region of the temperature of the region where it is grown, it can be classified into tropical, subtropical and temperate. So what are the examples of tropical crops? The most common fruit crops of India like mango, banana, papaya, sapota, pineapple, coconut, cashew, arecanut, breadfruit, all these are tropical fruits, whereas subtropical fruits are guava, grape, citrus, date palm, balsa, pomegranate, lychee, etc. And temperate fruits are what? That is apple, pear, peach, plum, quince, apricot, walnut, etc. Another very important thing in case of horticulture, which is very largely used in horticultural fruit productions, is like parthenocarpy, right? So, what is this parthenocarpy? It is the development of fruits without seed formation. The concept was introduced in 1902, and in order to get fruits without seed formation, we can go forward. We can apply plant hormones, especially gibberellic acid. If you see, it's a seedless fruits are formed through parthenocarpy, right? And banana is what it performs natural parthenocarpy, right? If we compare parthenocarpy with apomixis, so parthenocarpy and apomixis both mode of reproduction is asexual. Okay, that means there is no fertilization or there is no involvement of gametes in here. The product which is formed from parthenocarpy is fruits without fertilization, whereas in epimixis the product which is formed is seeds without fertilization. So that is the basic difference between parthenocarpy and epimixis. Then in parthenocarpy, the offsprings are genetically identical, whereas in apomixis, the mother cells are genetically identical. Why? Because it is the seeds which is formed from apomixis, right? So I hope the difference between, or at least the aspect of difference between parthenocarpy and apomixis is clear to you. Next, one of the most important aspects of horticulture is the layout system, right? So there are basically these are the most important systems of nursery layout in case of an orchard. Okay, so number one is your square system, wherein the row to row spacing and plant to plant spacing is same. Okay, it's equal. So this kind of system, it helps in easy laying out, and also intercultural operations can be done from both sides of the rows. Okay, so that is square system. Next is the rectangular system. So in rectangular system, what happens? The row to row spacing is more than the plant to plant spacing. Rest of the things are same like that of square. That is, it is easy to lay out, and also intercultural operations can be done from both the sides. Next is quincunx system, which is a modified square system. Herein there is an additional plant at the center. Okay, additional plant at the center in each of the squares. And in case of quincunx system, it accommodates almost 2 times more than the square system. Okay, so if a square system has 10 plants, then quincunx will have 20 plants, like that. Then in case of hexagonal system, what happens? Plants are planted in each corner of an equilateral triangle, right? Equilateral triangle, and it accommodates 15% more plants than the square system. Whereas in case of triangular system, what happens? The plants are planted in the corner of isolateral triangle, and it accommodates 11% less plants than the square system. So next, we have the contour system for the slopy lands. So contour system is adopted in hill areas, okay, where there is a slope of 2 to 10 percentage. Whereas when the slopes become higher than 10 percentage, then benches are made. Okay. Next, let us talk about the training system in fruit crops. So one of the most important training system is the central leader system, okay, which is done in trees which have prominent apical dominance. However, this is not much preferred. Why? Because there is lower vigor and productivity of the plants. Then next we have is the open center system. So open system, in case of open center, the main stem is allowed to grow only up to a certain height, like about 1 to 1.5 meters. After that, it is cut off, okay, and lateral branches are allowed to grow as the main branches. Okay, so in this type of open center, there's a low head and the fruits are borne close to the ground. Okay, so it facilitates operation like spraying, thinning, and harvesting. Open center is practiced in temperate crops like pear and apple. Next is the modified central leader system, which is an intermediate between central leader and open center. And again, it is practiced in temperate crops like pear, apple, and walnuts. Next, we have cordon system, which is like mainly used for what? Uh, Vine kind of growth, right? So it is espalier is allowed with the help of training on the vines. Like for example, it is grapes and training on pergola also. So those which have vine kind of growth. So for them, this training on pergola like grape, passion fruit, small gourd, and pointed gourd. Now, that being said, training can also be classified on the basis of the height. Okay, we can go for low head pruning, then 0.7 to 0.9 meters. Medium head pruning is 0.9 to 1 meters. High head is more than 1.2 meters, and pollarding is a form of low pruning, which is about 2 meters up to the stem. Right. So that is your training on the basis of height. Next is the pruning system of crops. So when we talk about the pruning system of crops, number one point is regarding the thinning out. So what do we do in case of thinning out? That is, we remove the branches entirely from its base, leaving no stumps. But in case of heading back, what happens? We cut off the main stem and we leave a basal portion. We do not remove the basal portion. Okay. In thinning, we go for removal of the branches only, and we leave no stubs behind. Whereas in heading back, what we do is that we cut the main stem, but we leave behind a basal portion. Then disbudding or rubbing off is done in case of young buds. Okay, it may be either vegetative or reproductive. So usually this disbudding is done in getting what? Bigger size terminal flowers. Again, pinching and topping is done in the tip or the central growing point of the shoot. Why? So that lateral growth can be encouraged. Okay. Then deadheading is the removal of the old or spent flowers. Okay, it is what? It is the removal of the old or the spent flowers which promotes new blooms to develop, and it makes the plant also look what? Tidier, right? So that is about your pruning system and training system in horticultural crops. Next, another thing is regarding top working. So what is top working? It is a method of rejuvenation. Okay, it is a method of rejuvenation wherein the objective is what? That is to upgrade seedling plantations of inferior varieties with the commercial varieties or hybrids which is suitable for domestic or export market, right? And top working is practiced in cashew tree and mango. Okay, we upgrade the seedling plantations of inferior varieties by grafting onto those inferior varieties. We graft what? We graft the superior commercial varieties upon those inferior varieties. Okay, so in that way we upgrade it. Next, another important aspect of horticulture is your maturity indices. We know that maturity can, in case of horticulture, can be two. One is physiological, other one is horticultural maturity. Horticultural maturity means that it is the harvest of the fruits when it is best prepared. Best preferred by the customers or in the market. So regarding the maturity indices of fruits, mango, if you see specific gravity 1.01 to 1.2, and TSS reaches what 11 to 15 degree bricks. Also, there is another thing called tapka, right? Which is also a maturity indices of mango. Then banana, pulp to peel ratio 1.2 to 1.6, roundness of the edges of banana. Okay, that is also another point. Ripe grapes have a TSS of 16 to 24%, and papaya, it's a climateric fruit. So usually it is harvested when the skin color changes from green to yellow at about 6%. Pineapple, for the local market, it is harvested when the 25% of its surface changes to yellow color, but for long distance, we usually harvest it when the eyes are still green and there is no trace of yellow color because pineapple is also a climacteric fruit. Then, in case of jackfruit, dull hollow sound is best feature for what? Maturity indices. Then, in pomegranate, the fruits are ready for harvesting between 135 to 170 days of anthesis. Then, in case of citrus, ISO has set a minimum juice content in order to determine the maturity, which is about 25 to 35% depending upon the variety of the citrus. And in muskmelon, we have a very typical maturity index, which is half slip stage, right? Okay. Next, let us see some of the production technology of important fruits and vegetables. So first is a mango. The scientific name of mango, Mangifera indica. What all things you have to see from mango? Number one, scientific name. Number two is your family. Mango family and cashew nut family is same, right? Then spacing, if you say conventional planting, 7 to 10 meters either way. And if we go for adopting high density planting, we can go for 5 meters into 5 meters, which accommodates 400 plants per hectare. Now, which variety is suitable for high density planting? That you will have to answer. And in case of double hedge row system also, we'll maintain 5 meters into 5 meters within the double rows, and between two successive double rows, we'll maintain a distance of 10 meters into 10 meters. Okay. So it will be somewhat like if this is a row and this is another row, so then the distance between these two will be what? It will be this is the one. Okay, these are double, since these are double rows, so distance between this will be what? 5 meters into 5 meters. Again, there will be double row. Okay, this is one row, this is another row. So here again the distance is 5 meters, but this is a double row, right? And this is also a double row. So between two successive double rows, the distance is what? It is 10 meters. Okay, so this is your double row system, right? Between two rows, you can say the distance is 5 meters into 5 meters, and between two successive double rows, the distance is 10 meters, right? Now, next, what we'll see is the pollination type of in mango. It is cross-pollinated by housefly. Type of fruit is a stone fruit. It's a climacteric fruit, and it is tropical fruit, right? Important thing about mango is the varieties. You know that Alfonso is the best export variety, but what is the negativity in Alfonso? That is the spongy tissue, right? And Alfonso is mainly grown in Maharashtra and Goa. Chausa is the sweetest but the late variety which is grown in North India. Manganapalli is a patented variety or GI tagged variety of Andhra Pradesh. Bombay Green is the earliest variety of North India. Kesar is of Gujarat. Okay. Langra has a distinct turpentine flavor. Niranjan and Madhulika are off-season varieties. Lal Sinduri is suitable for long transport. And Fazli belongs from where? Bihar and UP, whereas Dasheri belongs from UP. That means Fazli, Dasheri, Chausa, all these are what? These are your North Indian varieties. And you know that North Indian varieties is susceptible to one physiological disorder. So you need to answer which physiological disorder are North Indian varieties very susceptible to, whereas South Indian varieties are almost completely free of that disorder. So you need to answer that in the comment section. Now next we'll talk about the hybrid varieties. So Amrapali is the sherry crossed with Neelam. and Amrapali is suitable for high density planting. Whereas the opposite cross of Amrapali, that is Neelam cross Dasheri, is what? Mallika. Again, we have Arka Aruna, which is Banganpalli cross Alfonso, and the opposite of Arka Aruna is Alfonso cross Banganpalli is Arka Punit. Then Arka Anmol is Alfonso cross Janardhan Pasand. Okay, and these varieties like Arka Anmol, then Arka Neel Kiran, Ratna, these are what? These are free from spongy tissues. Okay, their characteristics are very similar to Alfonso because they are the hybrids of Alfonso and they're also free from spongy tissues. So nowadays, instead of Alfonso, these Alfonso hybrids are preferred in the market. The next we can say about the physiological disorders of mango. Number one is the alternate bearing. Now, why this alternate bearing occurs? It is mainly due to genetic factors. How we can manage alternate bearing? By the use of peclobutrazole. Again, another physiological disorder is a mango malformation, which can be due to a combination of genetic factors, environmental stress, and hormonal imbalance. On the other hand, black tip is seen in case of mango trees which are grown very close to brick kilns. Okay, it's mainly because of the smoke of brick kilns which have carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, and sulfur dioxide. And in order to prevent black tip, we can go for spraying of borax, and also we should raise the height of the chimney of the brick kilns. Okay. Next physiological disorder is the jhunka, wherein what happens that the cluster of fruitlets are borne at the tip of the panicle, which gives the appearance of a bunchy tip. Okay, therefore it is known as jhunka. Then spongy tissue. So here the fruits from outside they may look normal, but inside a patch of flesh becomes spongy, yellowish, and sour. And you know that Alfonso is most susceptible to spongy tissue, whereas varieties like or Alfonso hybrids like Ratna Arkapunit, they are resistant from spongy tissue. What are the major pest and diseases? Number one is your mango hopper. Number two is stem borer, nut weevil, fruit fly, anthracnose, and stem and rock. And also what? That is sooty mold. These are the major pest and diseases of mango. Okay. So you know that sooty mold, how can we control sooty mold in mango? Okay, you need to answer in the comment section. How can we control sooty mold in mango? Okay, great. Next crop is your banana. So how do we propagate banana? Using sword suckers, and sword suckers should be of the weight of 1.5 to 12 kgs. Spacing that is followed is usually 1.8 to 3.6 kgs. However, again, it depends upon the stature of the plant, right? For the dwarf Cavendish, we can go for a spacing of 1.5 meters into 1.5 meters. Then varieties, if you see the dessert type varieties, that means which can be eaten raw. So that is Robusta, Dwarf Cavendish, Granine, Rasthali, Uvan, Nendran. And for culinary varieties, that means we cannot eat them as such raw. We need to cook them before eating. So culinary varieties are Monthan, Ashamonthan, and Chakia. Dual variety is Nendran. Hill varieties are Viruvakshi, Sirumalai, known Namarai, red banana, and also Ladan. And for export purpose, usually Cavendish group bananas are preferred. Okay. So next is, in case of banana, again, this is important. That is the planting season. Okay. So we'll go for what? There are four systems of planting. That is one for wetlands, one for garden lands, one for hills, and one for padugai lands. Then again, in case of banana, the important pests are what? Corn weevil and stone weevil, right? And also banana aphid, which transmits bunch-it up virus, right? Banana aphid is what? Pentonolia nigro nervosa, right? Next crop is your citrus. So there, you know that citrus have different botanical varieties. Important ones are mandarin, that is Citrus reticulata, sweet orange, Citrus sinensis, and kaxi lime, which is Citrus aurantifolia, right? The difference between mandarin and sweet orange lies in this skin type, right? Mandarin have a special ring kind of thing, skin. Okay, it's like a jacket. Okay, for mandarin, we can use the Troyer citrange as rootstock, whereas Rangpur lime is best for sweet orange. And Kagzi lime is basically propagated by seeds. Then again, important thing is regarding the varieties. So sweet orange varieties are like Sadguri, blood pine, pineapple, okay, Mozambique, and also Valencia. Whereas the varieties of Kagzi lime are like Chakradhar, okay, which is the seedless variety. Then we have Ramalini, Mitha Chikna, Sai Sharbati, okay. Usually citrus are highly polyembryonic and the most common spacing in lemon lime is 6 meters into 6 meters. And citrus are what kind of plant? They are shrubs. Then physiological disorders and insect pest in case of citrus. One of the important one is a granulation. So why does granulation occurs? It mainly because of high temperature and relative humidity. And as a safety measure or phytosanitary measure, we can go for spraying of lime to prevent granulation. Then exanthema is due to deficiency of copper. Yellow leaf citrus is due to molybdenum deficiency, and the dieback is due to copper deficiency. Whereas in case of insect pest, greening is actually a viral disease. The vector is Diaphorina citri. Leaf miner is Phylloxnestis citrilla. Lemon butterfly is Papilio demiliosus. Right. Next, if you see is papaya. So papaya, there are many sex forms in case of papaya, like gynomonoecious, endomonoecious, or it can be gynodioecious, right? Dioecious plants, hermaphrodite plants. So there are many sex forms in case of papaya. What is the pigment in case of papaya? It is caricaxanthin, the yellow pigment, and the enzyme that is present in papaya is pepsin. Then next, if you see Pusa nanha is used for high density planting. In that case, the spacing that is followed is 1.25 meters into 1.25 meters. Okay. And the varieties, if you see Gynodioecious variety, Pusa delicious, Pusa majesty, Taiwan red colored, Surya sunrise solo. Dioecious varieties are like Pusa giant, Pusa nanha, right? Pusa dwarf. These are the dioecious varieties. Coming to the next crop, which is apple. So apple is grown at an elevation of 1200 to 2000 meters. Apple is what? It's a temperate crop. Therefore, it's grown at greater heights. Then what are the varieties? Again, here we can classify the varieties on the basis of the time, like early varieties, mid-season varieties, and late season varieties. Early varieties examples are like Irish peach, Jukes, Pippin. Then mid-season varieties like KKL, one, Carrington, Winterstein. Late varieties are Rome Beauty and Perlin's Beauty. Right? Again, in case of apple, the pest and diseases are like crown gall, fire blight, apple scab, Sanjo scale. These are important pests of your pests and diseases of apple. The next crop is your pomegranate. So, where is the origin of pomegranate? It is Iran. So, therefore, national fruit of Iran is also pomegranate. Propagation is either by stem cutting or by air layering, that is guti. And the diseases that you can see in case of pomegranate are bacterial blight, nodal blight, which is caused by Xanthomonas axonopodes, which is a bacterial disease. An important pest in case of pomegranate is the anar butterfly, which is Veracola isocritus. And also another one, which is fruit fly, Bactrocera zonota. Apart from that, the physiological disorders in case of pomegranate is fruit cracking due to calcium, boron, or potassium deficiency. Then what are the important varieties of pomegranate? Number one, Jalor seedless. Number two, Ganesh, Arakta, Mridula, Ruby, Jyoti, Dholka, Bhagwa, Amlidana, and Wonderful. And you know that Bhagwa variety has been exported, right? In case of pomegranate, one of the important aspects is the Bahar treatment or the flower regulation. Okay, we know that in case of pomegranate and guava, there are multiple times flowers would come. Okay, but it's not recommended to, allow fruiting in all the seasons. So for that, we go for what? Bahar treatment. And how do we do this Bahar treatment? So we'll withhold irrigation 45 days before flowering and we'll spray ethereal 2 to 2.5 millimeters liters of water for leaf shedding. Once the leaves are shed, so 40 to 45 days after withholding of irrigation, we'll go for application of what? Fertilizers. Okay. Then next is what? That the irrigation is resumed after the application of fertilizers. Okay. So what we'll do first, we'll withhold irrigation, okay, 45 days before flowering, and we'll allow for leaf shedding. So we can also go for use of ethereal in order to expedite the leaf shedding process. Then 40 to 45 days after withholding irrigation, we'll go for pruning of the plant. And once pruning is done, immediately we'll apply fertilizers and resume irrigation. So that helps in what? Flowering and fruiting. Next crop is grapes. So in case of grapes, what you will see, what is the pH requirement of the soil in grapes? It is 6.5 to 7. And spacing for grapes, if you see 3 meters into 2 meters for muscat and 4 meters into 3 meters for other varieties. Bower system is most adapted training system in case of grapes in India. And pruning is very important in grapes. So we go for 4 bud level pruning for muscat, Pachadraksha, Bangalore Blue, and 2 bud level for Thompson seedless. When do we go for pruning? We go for pruning in the summer months. Okay, for summer crop, we go for pruning in the months of December, January, and harvesting in April, May. Whereas for the monsoon crop, we go for pruning in the months of May, June, and in August, September. So with this, we have covered the most important aspects of the most important fruit crops from horticulture. Stay tuned to our sessions. Till then, bye bye.